Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Designing Dreams in the Haus. I'm your host, Tyler Swartzmiller. Today, I'm joined with an actual customer of ours. So this is the first time that we've done this. So it should be an interesting episode. So Kristen Swain is our first customer on our podcast. So Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Yeah. This is exciting.
It's fun. So we met, 3 years ago at this point?
In December.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was my birthday. That's the only reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
like 3 years in December.
I guess tell us about your story. So how long have you been in Columbus? How'd you meet your husband? Give us the background.
All the things.
I'm sure it's a good story.
Yeah, I moved to Columbus in '99 when I went to school at Haus Studio, and I never left. I came from a small town. A great town, Ironton, Ohio, but everyone kind of moved to Columbus to go to school, and I was on that bandwagon and just truly never went back.
Can we talk about how crazy Ohio State is now compared to then? Like, it was my third runner-up school. I was like, well, if I don't get into this, I'll go here. And now I couldn't get into Ohio State.
Oh, I mean, I turned down Scott. I was like, oh, no, it's just Ohio State, right? Like, Miami sounds so boring.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't know. I mean, everyone just went. It was like 13th grade, so it's fine. But like,
it's 13th grade.
Even just like it's a very competitive school.
Yeah,
I was very overwhelmed though. Like the classes were enormous, and I was, I graduated with 300 people, maybe.
Oh, I graduated with 75.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know everyone's name and their family.
Yes.
But like you go into those classrooms and you're like,
thousands of people
as many people in my school as there are in this lecture hall,
and
they're just a number. But that took some adjusting. But High Street had the drunk bar. Do you remember
the dirty bars
you from falling into?
Yes,
but they had
in the street.
The thing to keep you from falling into the Coda bus. So it was very different. It's a very beautiful
bucket of beers.
Now.
I mean, where you have your bucket and you dip your can and you tip your glass in it.
Yeah,
I do miss
the beer
dirty.
Tube,
I miss dirty Ohio State.
I do too.
Okay.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good. But now it's fancy Ohio State.
That's fancy. Yeah.
My daughter wants to go to school there. I'm like, okay,
oh, you better start saving.
I know.
It's so expensive
I'm like,
now.
can you live here?
Yeah, you can live at home.
Yeah, it's fine. She's fine with that too.
Okay.
But yeah, so I went to school at Ohio State. I worked in retail. That's how I actually met my husband. We worked at Victoria's Secret together.
Was Nick trying on outfits there?
No, I thought he was an intern. He actually was. He's younger than I am. But he came in working in like I don't even know what he was doing at the time, production job or something. Yeah. And I was in merchandising, and he came into a meeting. He can tell you all the details. I have no idea. Other than like a tall guy walked in, whatever. And this is true, he will admit to it, he pretty much stalked all of my friends to try to figure out who I was.
Yeah.
He then, like infiltrated, he would go to like yoga classes He was borderline stalking.
He was stalking
borderline
you. He was
stalking
you.
Yeah, but he was great. And then finally he asked me out on a date. I told him no.
As one does.
I was like, I don't date people at the office. Like, this is like, no, it's just not happening. And then my boss at the time was like, let me read this before you send it. And I was like, okay. And she's like, delete. Sure. Hit enter. And goes, you'll thank me when you're married. And walked out of my cube. And I was like,
crazy.
You were not my boss. I love her, Kristen Scott. She was amazing.
That's crazy.
But she walked out and said, "You'll thank me when you're married." And sure enough, that was 14 years ago.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's how we met.
That's a good one.
We went out on a date, and that was pretty much it. Game over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your guys' first house was in Upper Arlington, right?
Yeah. Okay. We bought a house. We did everything backwards too.
Yeah.
We met, we got engaged, bought a house, had a baby, got married. Got married in a courthouse and didn't tell anybody.
Oh, yeah.
On New Year's Eve.
Things can be whatever anymore.
No I was like, his brother, my financial advisor, was like, hey, you guys could get like a really big tax break. And we're like, we're doing this anyway.
Doing this. Yeah.
So we got married and didn't tell anyone until the wedding when we said I did.
Yep. Oh, that's really funny.
Like the whole place goes, oh, because they thought.
Was like your mom upset?
No, my mom knew. Our parents
knew.
Our parents
okay.
Our parents did know, and like our siblings knew.
Okay.
But everyone else, and then I think we told his grandparents like right before, so they would get it, and they still didn't get it.
They didn't understand. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But then he says I did, and everyone's like, oh God, she's gonna be like, you messed that up, right? Like you can't
you can't say that.
She's going to be pissed. So then I go and I say I did, and everyone goes, huh? Like the faces, the photo of everyone's confusion.
Yeah.
And then, like, we, according to the state of Ohio, you're pronounced husband and wife on December 3rd. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, it is the best photo of, like, all of the faces. It's just, like, processing. Like, what just happened? My one really good friend was, I still don't bring it up in front of her. She's, like, pissed. Oh, sorry, Alexis. But yeah, she, like, it's fine. But we did everything backwards. So we bought the house in UA.
Yeah.
Great house, super cute. Brandon Road, right on the corner by the high school.
Okay.
Little Cape Cod.
Yeah.
We did most of the work ourselves.
Yeah. Well, you have to when you're that young. Like, you hoe and you have no money.
We watched,
you watch YouTube
Chip
videos.
Chip and Joanna can do it. I can totally do this.
We can put Chip on everything.
Every single morning we would wake up with our coffee on the weekend, and like Marcella was a tiny little baby, and we're like, we can totally do this.
We can do this, yeah.
We could not do something. It was not.
We try really hard.
Well, yeah, like we ended up doing it. We tried to get people to do it. You also will find when a job is small,
people don't want to touch it.
They don't want to do it.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm sorry, I don't have time for your $10,000 bathroom.
Right.
Like thing.
That you bought tile from the internet just because it looked cute.
Well, yeah, but it was like when a bathroom is that small, you can use really nice tile.
Yeah, right.
Because you only need two square feet of it.
Right. I've actually got enough samples. Just keep ordering
samples.
Just
keep ordering and like I can finally put it together.
And then you can put the tile down the floor.
Yeah, it was like really like like it was hard to find anyone to do any work.
Well, my personal story of me doing work myself was Tyler was going to do plumbing, and my dad was a plumber, so I knew how to do this stuff. And then I flooded my entire house.
Okay.
I got a phone call from my dad saying, your grandpa's dying. If you want to see him, get home. And I drove home, and that morning I had brushed my teeth upstairs, and the pipe burst, and I didn't hear it. And I opened my garage door, and the ceiling collapsed into my garage. Okay. So I went inside, shut the water off.
This is how this day went. This is a really good day.
I was like, Grandpa's dying, so what's more important? So I shut the water off, called the insurance agent, and then I called my husband and said, hey, house is flooded. Dogs are in the cage. I have my suit. I'm going home. See you there.
Deal with it. Yeah.
And they had to gut the entire house. So Tyler doesn't do plumbing anymore.
Well, at least you got a little insurance.
Oh, no, we did. We redid the whole house. So it's fine.
Fine. Yeah, no, Nick, he went to take, which was not part of the original bathroom remodel. Mm-hmm. We did the kitchen and the bathroom, and it worked out. But he went to do the tile in the bathroom when I was driving Marcelo to meet his dad.
Yeah.
So that they could keep her for the weekend. Yeah. Because she can't be in a construction site.
Yeah.
And he started to take out the tile in the shower, which if you know a 1950s shower in Arlington, it's set in cement. Mm-hmm. Like there's no chipping that away. It was living a good life, and it was there to stay. So it became a much more complex project.
Blow up the bathroom.
We did, or he did.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure I had to take showers out of like a copper pipe coming out of the wall or bath. I was like splat, and I'm like cussing him the whole time, like for weeks, and I'm like
a little bit of a horse bath for a little bit.
our weekend remodel.
Yeah.
So easy, HGTV style.
Screw you, Chip and Joanna.
No, it was not. Yes, they definitely are on an accelerated timeline because they have 19 people helping.
They do. You just don't see anyone behind Chip. And I've worked on some of these shows, and it's really funny because like they'll leave like this corner over here not tiled, and this corner over here the cabinets will be in, and this corner over here needs painted, and they'll bring the host in to do that one thing, and they'll then have them go change shirts and then do this, and then change shirts again and go do this, and then as soon as they leave, they fix it all because none of these contractors or these hosts are actual contractors. Real. They're not real contractors.
I didn't know that. I thought
It's
we are educated. We can YouTube the hell out of this and figure it out.
We know how to back butter that tile. We know all the things.
I mean, we got really good at it.
Yeah.
We got really good at it. I mean, my grout lines were like
so good.
Perfect. But yeah, I didn't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So then we bought this house because we sold our house in UA, mainly because we just needed to be closer to work.
Yeah.
And we love this house. We were like, this is awesome. But like, we can't do this ourselves.
Yeah.
There's gonna need. We painted. We did what we could.
Yeah.
But like.
So I guess tell us about the house that you bought.
Yeah. So we bought it's 1805 is estimated.
Yeah.
And that's because we know the fireplace in the original house was only built in the United States between 1800 and 1810. So they just say 1805. It's an ingle nook, which means walk in. It's huge.
It is huge. You literally could walk in it.
We put a stove insert in it because I'm like, no.
The kids are gonna climb in this.
I'm gonna fall in it. Like a glass,
drunken
a
Kristen
bottle of wine. I'm
Kristen's
gonna fall into this
and like
10. No, like this is not. This is a safety hazard for drunk wife and children. My apologies. So we put that in, which was great, and we did all of like the house is amazing, except it was very chunked together. You call it Frankenstein.
Because it's like there's been 5
and it's
additions.
So weird.
There was 17 living rooms.
Yeah, it was a land
house.
grant for anyone who lives on our side of town, like Martha Havens. Havens Corner it was her house. She married this man who came from New Jersey. Him and his brother, they had a mill. So Jersey Mill Road is another one. Yeah. So all of the wood is from their family's mill.
Oh, that's really cool.
And there's beams that are cut by hand with Roman numerals, and they're trees. I mean, I think some of them we didn't even know how long they were till we started uncovering things.
Yeah, I mean, some have to be 30 feet long. It's one continuous
tree.
Across the house.
Cool. Glad that they cut that by hand.
Yeah.
Sure, that was
with no tools,
project.
like hand tools. I think that's the hard thing for us to comprehend. Like, we go and get a chainsaw. This is like chiseling by hand.
Like what?
And we sit on Instagram for 6 hours. You know, I look at that. I'm like, well, they didn't have TV, so guess nothing else to do.
Yeah. So then one of the brothers, when the parents passed, they had like a lot of kids, 5 kids or something like that. And then they had 2. The brothers bought the sisters out of the estate, as most families do.
Yeah.
One brother moved across the creek, Tim's house.
Another client.
Hey,
Tim.
A very lovely. It's actually really because their house is so gorgeous and formal. And
it's so interesting, like this formal farmhouse.
It's beautiful. But you're like, one brother was the lawyer, and the other brother taught school out of his parents' house and built the first part of our home. He was clearly a little not as wealthy.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful home.
It's a beautiful,
just not as fancy.
Not
right?
as fancy, yeah.
But yeah, and then over time, like then someone was practicing law, and it was just kind of got all pieced together.
Yeah.
I think we can see like certain things, like our bedroom was originally like the living room, and our living room was the dining room.
Yeah.
But there's fireplaces everywhere. Like there is no shortage of character. Yeah. There's no shortage of brick, of beams, of whatever you need.
Yeah.
Except it was very 90s and very dated and needed a kitchen that was not the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah.
So in walks Tyler and Amy.
And you remember the first thing I said about your kitchen?
Yes, I do. And can I say this?
You can say it.
Okay.
Yes, it's totally
So like everyone has quirks and things that drive them nuts about their house. But this kitchen was like super narrow and very smooshed together and had this awkwardly shaped island that looked rather phallic.
Yeah, phallic. Phallic is
the most appropriate way to say it. And like, I don't know how I didn't just like rip it out, because it was like day after day, like the more I noticed it. And then I would tell people, which was not a good idea. Because every guy came in our house and stood by it. And they were like, ha, what do you think? And I was like, I think I'm going to murder you. This is like, who designs this? Who like laid that out and thought, this is a good idea?
This is a good idea. Let's make this really long thing and then make it round on the end.
On the end, yes. Great.
Yep.
So we finally are like, I'm like, I just need to talk to someone about the kitchen. Like, we're just going to talk. We're not going to really do it. We're just going to talk. And it's like, sure. Like, I've heard this story before.
Yeah.
Cool. So we did our, like, Skype meet and greet or whatever. And you and Amy come in the house to look. And the first words out of your mouth were, that's rather phallic. And I was like, done. Get the checkbook. He's hired. Like, whatever. Like, he gets it. He totally gets it. We're done. And Nick was like, you need to calm down. Like, come on. Like, let's just, like, they haven't even taken a measurement yet. I'm like, well, he's hired. I don't know what to tell you. He completely gets me. That's it.
Well, I think that's one thing is, as a designer, I try to, like, understand your pains of being in this kitchen. Like, the sink was in the corner. Like, guys, you don't understand how high this was. Like, you could be at the sink and stir a pot. We should show pictures. Yeah. You could literally be doing dishes and stirring a pot at the same time. It was like a kitchen in a camper. It was like they shoved everything
I've had more
corner.
room in a camper.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest. I mean, I don't even know. But it laid it out in a way you could not function. There were stacked ovens. And then there was a Sub-Zero fridge that we actually took out because it was the exact diameter or width or whatever
to hit the phallic
island. So you would, if you opened it from the other side, you were like, oh wait, like you had to like go around, or like the kids would go under, and you're like, why is this like it is just grazing the counter? It was just a single door, and it was absurd.
Well, even get by, didn't you like paint the tile just to kind of like
try it? Yeah, it was like getting yellow and gross. So I was like, maybe
if I paint it'll
I
be better.
felt like so like stuck. I don't even like lime wash or something. I was like, can I just make it not yellow and like terracotta, whatever?
It was Durango travertine. It's what we did in the 90s. Yeah,
it was awful.
It was awful.
Yeah, so yeah, I did paint the tile.
You know what? Sometimes you just need little Band-Aids until
well,
you
I was
can...
trying. I was just like, it just looked so dirty. The kitchen just felt dirty. And then I was driving myself nuts, like trying to scrub
clean it.
stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's just the stain in the tile, not
the
grease.
tile. Yeah.
So I lime washed it.
So then we came in, we showed you the design, and I'm pretty sure your first instinct was like, this doesn't fit. Or at least maybe Nick's was. Like, this doesn't actually fit.
Yeah, I think because we lived there for so long.
Yeah.
And I think he was just like, they're going to have, you can't fit a kitchen in here anymore. We're going to have to move the kitchen back here. And then I'm like, what do you do with this room? Because there's like a random fireplace in here. Like, this is an odd thing to have. Like, it's now like another, like a lounge. Like, what do we, because we need more seats.
We need another place to
We need another sofa.
We need another sofa.
And TV. Yeah, let's just do that. And so I think he was just more like, what? It was just so not anything because we're not trained professionals.
Right, yeah.
What?
No,
this is not our job.
Yeah, I know.
It was not our job. So it was just like a lot to like absorb.
It is, yeah.
And we took the drawings and renderings and we actually taped them up.
Yeah.
On
the walls.
On the walls that were lime washed. And we're like, wow, like this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. This actually is functional and would flow. Yeah. And then Nick would stand there in the little corner doing dishes looking at a brick corner of dirt. And he'd be like, it would be great to not look at this.
Look at this, yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome to see a window? I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right here. We can have this too can be yours. This is what we want to do. And so he was fine. Like I think and then I think the other thing, this is like a serious like compliment to you. Like the price is the price, right? Yeah. Probably sucks because I think a year and a half later things were not the same price because this was like a COVID-ish project.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But he's like, we can't like this is the number we can pay. Yeah. And we can't go over. Yeah. So like it is what it is. And we didn't. You know? I remember because you were like we have a beautiful waterfall. Island,
yeah.
And which is not an inexpensive.
No, and it's also like 5 feet deep too.
Yeah,
like a normal
huge.
counter. It's like 5 feet deep
by like
3 feet tall. Yeah,
like
so it's a lot of square footage.
So it's a giant slab. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, well, if we end up going over, we just take this piece off, and we have a cabinet ready to go. It just goes there. Like, it's not that hard. Yeah, I remember the waterfall went in. I was like, we're on budget. Yes, I can keep it. It might not be on budget, but Tyler wants the waterfall. I don't really know. I'm not gonna ask questions.
It's fine.
Yeah, we're not gonna ask. But it's there and it's beautiful. But like Nick was like, okay, that's fine as long as we don't go over it. But then he magically added. So like my very frugally conservative husband, love you, honey. He was like standing. Our friends were over one day, and they were like going through the layout and they're like, okay, this looks great, and. Our laundry room, which is like not the most functional laundry room on the planet, we would put like alcohol in when we had parties and like force people in
because it was right off this like
it's like right off
living room
it's
kitchen
off
area,
at the kitchen and everyone stands in the kitchen and trying to get people out of this kitchen to like make space. We would end up putting stuff in this laundry room, and Nate was like, I don't understand why you don't just make this a bar. And like a light bulb went on his head because we were going to make like a little tiny fridge nook thing, and he was like, "Why wouldn't you just turn this into a bar and move your washer dryer? Because like you don't like washing your clothes over here anyway. It's not convenient. Our bedrooms are on the other side of the house." And then he was like, "This is a great idea, Tyler. I need you to come. SOS.
I know we're in the middle of construction.
We're in the middle of like we hadn't started everything yet, but he's like, I'm gonna need you to like hear me out on this. Yeah." And oh, by the way, do you remember he bought a slab of wood?
Oh, yeah, he bought a slab of wood.
He bought a slab of wood.
And he's like, I want you to make a bar out of this.
Again, we think we're designers. We're not. We think we're designers. Yeah. This is not. But yeah, we added the bar, which is like, it's like the highlight of the house.
It's the bar, and I love we also added that record area too.
Yeah, the record bar. That was kind of a part of the original, because the dining, So, but like, it's super cool and functional and great.
It kind of finishes the layout of the house where people can be in that kind of hearth sitting room area and have cocktail over there
or a coffee.
Yeah, or coffee
and a coffee
or both.
It depends. Depends on who's visiting.
Some people make me drink more actually, so
it's fine. But if you need a drink, it's like go in there.
Which is nice. They're not in your kitchen.
Yeah,
and they
even
can just
like
go over there.
Kids, it's like get your water. Get your there's soda in there too. Like not all of it.
Not all of it's alcohol.
Not all of it is for those 21 and up. But yeah,
that's so cute.
Yeah, so he did that.
So obviously, this being one of your first big kitchen or remodels, how did your family deal with it in terms of just living?
I mean, we did.
It sucks.
Right?
I understand. It sucks.
You know,
And
I mean,
the girls actually liked it a lot, though.
Oh my God, they did. And like they like love it. They're like, hey, remember when we could eat out of the floor and watch TV? Can we do that? And I'm like, no, you're gonna sit at this island.
And we're gonna have something healthy.
And and we're gonna talk to each other is what we're gonna do.
We're gonna get family again.
Yeah. But it was, I mean, they're kids, they're resilient.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and for us, we made it work, honestly. Yeah. It's just, there's definitely times where you're like, we started in February. It was like February 1st.
Yes.
The coldest time you can start anything in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And there were no walls.
Yeah.
Like, in our exterior of our home is an old house.
There's no insulation.
No, it was legit the original wood things.
Yeah.
And like dirt floors underneath the thing. And like
all the dead animals in the dirt.
There were none. I'm surprised. I was definitely expecting like raccoons, dead bodies. I don't know.
We had a lady call 2 days ago. She actually reached out on Sunday. She's like, there's a dead animal underneath my kitchen and she's in German Village. I can't get to it because someone like framed it in. She's like, how fast can you do a kitchen? I was like,
not fast
summer of 2025. I was like, we can send someone out to like remove the floor to get the dead animal. Yeah. But like, then we put a piece of plywood over it.
Smell until you get there.
Yeah. 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 And
I mean, I know that we've had that
smell. Like it's already been there a while. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So dead of winter, freezing cold.
Yeah, and like
furnace is running constantly.
Yeah. But like we had the little, the plastic and the murder crime scene.
Yeah, murder crime scene thing. Yeah.
And we would zip it and go like one side of the house because the Frankenstein house actually helped because like it was a separate house.
You had
a separate house.
Yes.
So we would truly just like wake up. It was like nothing was bad. We go to sleep. We wake up. We'd shower, and then like we would, truck to the campsite, the other side, thing, and like do get breakfast and like get ready and stuff over there, and then out for the day. So it was fine, but the wind was blowing. And the plastic's like shaking. And I like the kids didn't. And I'm just like sitting there looking at Nick and we're like, what did we do?
Well, and you guys both work from home too. Yes. So Nick's on the other side. So you don't really see him. So he's by himself. He's totally fine. But then you're in the other side of the house trying to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the tools are going. The plastic is shaking.
I mean, it was just like, it was like a game when we would be on Zoom calls. It'd be like, where in the world is Kristen today? Like, she's in the driveway. She's in her bathroom.
She's hiding in the tub.
In the gym. Like, I would be wherever I needed to be. Like, I just traveled around with my laptop. It was, we made it work.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah. That's construction.
And it's over.
It's over. It's over. And
it's over.
The farther away I think you get from the project, the less you think about the actual construction. Not like you almost forget about it. So it comes to a point where you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's just like people in and out. You're like, hey, I don't do it. Like, do I know you? Do I know you?
Is that that person? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of people.
You meet a lot of people.
And people understand it's all the people behind the scenes. Like, yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the plumber, it's electrician, the HVAC.
It's a full-on cast.
It's a cast of crew.
Yeah, you're like the producer, and these people are showing up.
You watch these TV shows, and you see one or two people, and it's 30 by the time you're done, because there's the floor people, there's the trim people, there's this people, there's the countertop people. They're like, and then there's the other countertop people for the bar that we added. So it's just different people all the time.
And they're different, and like they all, like it's like such the organization of like, well, this guy can't come till this guy's finished, and this can't happen till this is finished, and then the electrician will be back to do this after this. Like they can't just do it all at one time. It's like they only do like chunks.
They can only do sections until.
And then the HVAC guy comes, because then the water guy has to come after the HVAC guy, like. And then the plumbing, or then the electric guy comes because they can't all have lines going to the same thing, but I don't even know.
It was
a lot.
It's a
again,
thing.
Not my
house.
Yeah, no. I learned a lot.
This
is what you do.
This is what I do. Yeah. Well, in a reference, right after their project, we did Nick's sister's house. Yeah. And probably about 2 months before we started, she told us she was pregnant, but I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that she was pregnant. So I had to
Not even me.
I had to push her brother's project to after her so we could get this job done before she had the baby.
And you did.
And I did by a week. I said, cross your legs. I don't care what you have to do.
And she did.
Do not let that baby come out until I'm done with this project.
Yeah, so.
And I did it. I almost had a mental breakdown, but I did it.
You did. You did. Her kitchen looks great, too.
It does. Yeah, I think we're photographing it tomorrow.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Good.
That's Megan. I don't.
Megan does all the things.
We love Megan.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that makes 3 families that you've
done? 3 Swain families.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I talk about this so much.
So,
we got and we're gonna go meet Mama Swain.
You got So Meemaw's getting her kitchen done too in Mansfield.
In the Mansfield.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Getting, at least you can stop on your way home.
Yeah.
And then Zoe's in Boston.
Yeah.
So we were like, you've already offered to ship to Boston.
We've shipped stuff to Boston.
Yeah. So we got this.
We got this. So what's your favorite part of the kitchen remodel? Is it the bar?
I mean, this is a hard,
yeah.
I feel like, because we've done some interviews for magazine stuff, and they always ask this, and I'm like, I can't pick it. It's like picking a favorite child.
Yeah.
Depends
on the day. Some days I like the child. Some days I don't.
Very true. We love them differently.
Yes.
Right? But it's just a change the way that we use our house.
So
all of it is very important.
The Cambria party we had for you guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cambria. If you ever do Cambria, they'll do a premiere party for you. So we did it for Super Bowl last year. And there was probably 50 people there.
Yeah.
And I remember you were walking around showing people, and I could see how excited it made you to be able to have all these people in your house at one time. Because you could have never have done that and been in the same space.
Oh no, we can try in the summer, and because you're just outside.
Yeah.
There's land, but no, it doesn't matter. They all want to be inside.
They all want to be inside.
They don't want to be around the kitchen.
Yeah.
They want to be around a phallic island, just squeezing in potatoes.
Right.
But they did, and we all fit in.
Yeah.
We all made it work, and
there was still space for everybody.
Yeah.
We could watch between the
kids
were
one. It was, and the kids. We have so many kids.
There's lots of kids. There's so many kids.
Don't ever come to our house if you don't like kids. Just don't.
Oh,
but if you have kids, bring them. Just come, go straight to the bar, get a drink, and leave.
Get a drink. Yeah.
There's always going to be kids running around, and I love that.
That's great.
I want them running and playing.
Yeah, and being.
Doing the thing. I mean,
it's great that you want to be the house where you want the kids to be.
Yeah. And there's always a lot of them.
There's always they come in.
Because even one family has 4.
Yeah.
And Tim.
Tim.
Just family.
I don't think
alone.
I've actually met all Tim's kids, to be honest. There's just so many of them.
Some people think my kid is one of theirs.
Oh, really?
They go places. They're just do you have 5? And they're like, yeah. There's Marcella's just one more.
One more, yeah, please.
Yeah,
if
just
you want
add
to
on.
her college,
and I'm like, all right.
Totally fine.
I mean, Carmen does work at Ohio State. So.
I know. Hey.
We can claim her.
If you can claim her.
But yeah, there's always kids, and they do. I mean, it's hard because the bar is so cool, and it's super moody and different from the rest of the house.
Yeah.
But I love. I mean, the pantry.
I know. And the pantry was a game changer for you guys because
it's so good.
You had no place where to store your food before. A closet
above a step that I had
in another room though.
Yeah.
And this is right by the kitchen now.
Yes, and I can hide all my the
blenders and air fryers and all those things.
Whatever.
Well, I remember the air fryer was in the laundry room, I think.
Yeah, it was.
When we first met you guys.
Totally plugged it in there.
Yeah.
Right, because it was the catch-all.
It was the catch-all, yeah.
It's a bar. It's an air fryer room.
It's an air fryer. You can do dishes or do laundry and fry some chicken.
There was no we had no
counter space. Yeah.
Our counters in the original kitchen were not
They were really narrow on that
super
living room wall, so.
And I don't like things on the counter. I don't like clutter.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle another thing, so I just shoved it in the laundry room.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are probably my 2 favorite.
Yeah.
Nick's favorite's the kick-out drawer.
Oh, the drawers. So we did toe kick drawers underneath 2 of the drawers for extra storage because the kitchen still is not huge.
Your kid.
But it's
so
really
good.
thoughtful storage. And I always say this, making a beautiful kitchen for me is easy. It's the functionality and making sure it's functional. And the crazy part is you had one small island and now you have one huge peninsula and another island in this kitchen. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the kitchen itself is not bigger. We took walls down, but the kitchen did not go outside the original floor plan.
Legitimately more functional.
It's just more functional.
And I told you this is what I was like, I'm 5'4". I'm vertically challenged. I don't have any idea what's above the first cabinet. I can't, I literally am, since I was a child, I step on the thing and I'm up there, at 4, I'm I'm going to hurt myself eventually. I'm getting too old to keep jumping up here.
No, we're getting too old.
Jumping
Our knees.
down. Yeah. So we don't have any upper cabinets. I mean, we have one hidden above the thing.
Yeah.
Next, I don't even know what's
up there. Yeah.
Food dehydrator or something.
Right. Something you don't ever use.
I have no idea. I've literally never looked. Yeah. I can't reach it.
You can't reach it.
So it's really just some pretty glasses and stuff and all of that is just decoration.
Decoration, yeah.
Yeah, and a hood.
Yeah. Really
it's
pretty
an awesome hood. It's a really pretty hood.
Yeah. If you had to go back, what's some advice you'd give to yourself about going into this remodel?
I mean, I think there's mainly because just educating yourself on how many jobs are you running at the same time?
Yeah.
Because it's not just one.
No,
it's not. There are many job sites at any given time. So you're at different places. Contractors at different places. Yeah. The people will not be at your house every single day. Which is a lot.
That's a lot.
Sometimes you're sitting there
money,
and you're
that's the hard part to explain to people.
Where are these?
Where are these people?
Or just making sure. And it's not that, but you're just more okay, I didn't know to ask that.
Right.
So I was just kind of caught off guard.
Yeah.
Like not a big deal. Like once you learn that.
Once you learn, yeah. And it's and we're getting better at prepping people too in terms of like, hey, you know what? There's going to be 3 days of downtime. And as long as they understand that,
they're fine.
They're totally fine.
Because they're just like, is someone coming here today?
Right. Well,
like,
I think so many people are used to like, oh, it's Chuck in a truck and he's going to come do my job and he's going to be here every day. And you're like, no, there's 10 other jobs and they're going from here to there to
Yeah. And you're like, oh, we're making good time. We're getting things done. And it's like, no, that means it's just we're done. We can't. And now we can't do anything until these people come. And they can't show up because they're like, need this guy to show up. So like it's just like we said, the scheduling. The scheduling,
the logistics behind it.
The running of the play. And if you're early, like cool.
Great.
There's really no benefit to being early.
No. We finished a job a few weeks ago and we walked in and the husband's like, congratulations. I was like, for what? He was like, you guys finished 2 days over schedule. And he goes, everybody told us plan for 6, 8, 10 weeks over and you were 2 days. And I was like, okay, good. Because guess what? We started another one yesterday. We already started it. Yeah. And like that's just where we're at this point. Is like we have 5 crews on the road full time and we have to stay on schedule because if we don't, then the other jobs start getting behind. And then when you're scheduled out almost a year, what do?
Well, and that's like people say that they're like, okay, well, how long is it going to take? And you're like, I don't know, 10, 12 weeks. And they're like, okay, so plan for 24. Yeah. But, like, if you're planned right, like, we started in that, we had a garage full of like, cabinetry. We were ready to rock.
Cabinets, appliances,
so, like,
tile,
it's
hardware.
like, you shouldn't be going that far over. If you're that far over, then you have the wrong person doing your job. Yeah. So, like, you shouldn't be going that far over. Yeah. But it's more like how in the moment you're just mentally prepared. Yeah. Like, and if you're honest up front with, like, my timeline. Yeah. And you don't want to be late because you have enough. We
have enough.
That is a domino effect. So
I do have to reminisce about we had a meeting together. So it was a Friday meeting, and I don't know, it was like a 2 or 3 o'clock meeting, and we decided to open a bottle of wine. I don't know if you remember this meeting because one bottle turned into I think 3 or 4.
Wait, was this at my house or at the studio?
This is at the studio.
Oh yeah, and we looked at Tim Carmen's plans.
We looked at Tim Carmen's plans before we showed it to him. We didn't do that.
They know this. I've already told them.
And
it was so fun.
We drank so much, we didn't take notes, and we couldn't remember all the things. So
this is when we came to look at the bar in real life.
I think so.
Because you surprised us with this green that's Sherwin-Williams cast iron, my new favorite color. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm totally okay with this. I just want to see it in person because like I'm on a computer screen. And I don't really, just making sure. Yeah. And then
Amy didn't take notes, and the next Monday she's like, we were going to finalize everything, but I don't know what we did. And I was like, here's the thing. I could just pick it, and they won't remember either.
And I know, maybe, whatever, it's great. I don't know. I mean, it's totally what I would have signed off on.
I absolutely have no idea, but I was like, I'll just choose it for
them. We did. We were sitting at, like, that's when Nick picked out the toe kick thing.
Yes. Well, and what happened was, like, we had 2 bottles, and then Nick went back and got another bottle out of the wine fridge. Yeah. And then I think we got, a 4th one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That was also the day I think we gave you, like, our first deposit.
I think so,
that's
too.
Probably really, like, that check was a big one.
Well, I think you didn't have the girls that weekend either.
We didn't. Yeah. No,
So I think you guys were going to dinner and stuff afterwards.
The kids were,
I know.
The kids were
it was the point, I was like, I should probably call an Uber to go home. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Like.
We did call an Uber. Sure. It was, I'm sure, I mean, it was Chardonnay. I definitely drank more than my husband did.
Yeah.
But whatever, it was fun.
It's a fun meeting.
It was fun.
And the kitchen turned out beautiful.
I remember you guys coming one Friday, and it was like a work day, and it was like getting to be summertime, and we hadn't had a washer and dryer hooked up. I mean, it was just like a day. Yeah. It was a day. Yeah. And you, like, and Amy walked in, and I mean, I know, like, most days, like, I don't get dressed up. Yeah. But, like, that day I looked like hell. I mean, my hair was up. Yeah. I was in, like, my yoga clothes in the morning, and you were like, okay, today we're surviving, not thriving. And, like, you're like, it's going to be good. We're good. We're, like, we're at the final stretch. And I'm like, okay. And I remember sending you a pic. I have it. So on my phone. I think I drank an entire bottle of rosé. It was, like, Whispering Angel. And, like, it just kept going down so easy. Yeah. And he was like, just keep going. You're fine. We're there. We're making it. We're getting there. But, like, washing your dishes in the tub.
In the bathtub.
And, like, the not having removing your washer and dryer. It wasn't hooked up upstairs. And, like, the plumbing, like, it was just, like, a thing. And I'm like,
And you have kids.
I'm done.
And no, you just get to a point where you're done.
I'm just going to do this because this is what I can do today.
And, honestly, like,
God forbid I scrub them, like, in the, like, with the washer.
Go
like,
out to, like, your crick, because you're crick in the back and, go to
Thank God for friends. Like, people would, like, you can do laundry here. And I'm like, you think that you're being nice? Like, I'm going to show up. And we did.
Yeah.
We would show up for dinner. I'd be like, I'm going to cook dinner at your house because I can't cook at my own house.
Like, yeah.
And I'm going to cook, and we're going to feed you and do all the things. And I'm going to do, like, 8 loads of laundry while you're here.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. We did. A lot of generous friends.
And I joke with people, like, going through a major remodel like that will test your marriage. And if you can survive that, you will make it out.
Yes.
You are good. You're golden.
People, they were always like, oh, okay. Like, oh, how was it? And I'm like, I understand why people get a divorce.
Yeah.
We didn't.
And you guys, honestly, on the front end, we're very on the same page. Like, we have people on the front end that are already on the same page. Like, they're yelling about colors. Like, literally yelling at each other. I'm like, that's not going to make it, let alone construction.
No.
So
it will test a marriage.
It tests a marriage.
It's fine.
No.
You made it.
You made it. Yay.
Nick might say something different. He's golfing right now, so he can't say anything different. We made it.
Well, thanks so much for coming on here. You guys have been great clients, and obviously the whole Swain family, we love you. Yeah. I can't wait for your next project. So
I know. Which one are we gonna do first?
I think we do the upstairs. Well, I want to do the upstairs. Yeah. I think it might be a little.
Do you know what else Nick wants? He wants to do the garage.
Okay.
And make a garage dominium. I don't even know.
Like do a second level.
Yeah.
Like
I think they're technically make a second level. Like the golf simulator.
The whole. He's been for the Monforts too much with the golf simulator. Can't he just go over there?
No, it's a double. It's such a far drive.
It is a far drive. I know.
It's like a flight. But yeah,
have them tell him how much that was, and then we'll see. Oh, he knows.
Don't worry, Mark finds them on like deals and like
Temu or something. Yeah. He's gonna get the Temu one.
Yeah, he's like, they have this like Black Friday sale, and I'm like, why are we? This was last year. I was like, can we like not buy that before we're even like have a place to put it?
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do with this entire golf simulator?
Well, and he's so tall, he has to have like 12-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
If not taller.
But that's what he thinks. Because if we get that, then the kids have a place to go, so then we can do the bedroom upstairs.
Okay. So many projects.
Got it? I mean, we will keep you busy.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I like you guys.
But we'll come back and talk about all of them.
We'll talk about all of it.
Anyway.
So.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for joining us for another episode of Designing Dreams in the Haus. I'm your host, Tyler Swartzmiller. Bye, guys.
Boxland Media. Think big.